Hey everyone, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. Some might call it severe.
Right now we have more of a sleeping problem, as being the child only falls asleep if you are laying perfectly still in bed with her in a dark room with a noise machine going, which inevitably means that you are going to fall asleep. I have already fallen asleep for the night.
Some might call that a nap.
We'll see how much I wake back up. I might just consider it falling asleep for the night.
Well, thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and with me is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline. How's it going, Caroline?
I am alive, I am not alert, and I am not awake, and I am mildly enthusiastic.
Well, you should be ecstatic. Do you know why?
I mean, Bach season is the best season.
Well, I was going to say, this is our 50th episode.
Oh, whoa, that's a big number. Is that like your silver anniversary?
I think it's gold. 25 is
25 is silver, that's right. 50 is gold. I mean, this would make sense because I know we've skipped a few weeks. And I did get the, it's been a year pop up in my something memories where I had a photo of us doing one of the first podcasts.
It hasn't technically been a year.
We waited a hot second to release episodes.
Yeah, so mid-March is when we released the first 2 episodes, I guess.
Beware the Ides of March.
Yeah, right around St. Patrick's Day is when we released, I believe.
That sounds about right.
I would have to look that up. But as you said, it is Bach Fest season.
The best season.
And last year, Bach Fest didn't happen. Last year being 2021.
Well, it did, but there wasn't a Bach Fest hall. And Bach Fest hall is one of the best parts about Bach Fest.
I guess it was just really different. And there wasn't like a centralized org. I don't know if there was a parade and stuff like that.
I do not recall.
Sausage Queen. I don't think there was any of that. As you might be able to tell, we are going to be talking about Bach Fest in this episode, in this 50th episode. What a way to celebrate 50 years than drinking Bach beer and talking about Bach Fest.
I'm not 50 years old. I mean, you might be 50 years old because you're ancient. I'm just old. It's 50th episode.
What did I say?
You said years.
50th episode, I meant.
Trying to age us.
No, I'm not 50.
Marco says you are. You saying he's not telling the truth?
Wow. So we're going to talk about Bach Fest. We're going to drink some beer.
We're going to talk about Bach beer.
Yeah. So let's dive in and get started.
So, Hubs, I noticed you have an adult beverage in front of you that looks a lot like my adult beverage in front of me. What are we drinking?
Yeah, we are drinking the same thing, and you picked up this beer after getting lost.
I did. Somehow I got lost and ended up at 13 Below down by the river. I was at Target, and then all of a sudden, I wasn't home. I was at 13 Below. Who knows what happened? It's crazy.
Who knows? Who knows how you got to Target? That's the question. You always seem to sneak that in.
I needed supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Target had those supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go back to Target, though, because I didn't fully get the right supplies. So I'm going to exchange some things and get some new things. Maybe.
But you asked.
Don't worry about it.
But you asked what we were drinking. We are drinking a beer called Weisenbach. And as you said, it is brewed by 13 Below Brewery here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's one of our homes away from home here on the west side.
West side, best side. I thought that was a button.
It's not a button. I don't know how to do that.
Give me the manual. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So as you said, you pick these up. They do have limited cans.
Yes, they do.
And one of their limited edition, well, I don't know how limited it is. I don't know if they can still even get it. But you picked up the Flus Bock, which I looked it up. Flus is German for river.
Oh.
And 13 Below is by a river. It's actually it's like right there on the dock. They have flooded several times.
They flooded once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, because of the rain and the melting snow and stuff like that. Or maybe it was like I don't know.
They haven't flooded this year.
No, not this year. I didn't say this year. I don't even think last year or the year before. I think it was when they first opened.
I think they did flood in 2021.
Well, anyway, how do you like it?
It's pretty tasty. It's nice and smooth. I'm going to chug this whole thing because I'm going to finish it really fast. I mean, it smells really yummy, which is super descriptive. It's nice and malty.
Yeah, it's malty. It has a crisp finish, which is a characteristic of most lagers.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the difference between a lager and a ale. It's kind of brown. It's a brown color. Has really good carbonation at the top, so that's really good. Of course, it is a relatively fresh beer, I would imagine. And it's kind of lighter as far as ABV goes. It's 5.7 ABV.
Yeah, that's pretty low for a Bock beer.
Which makes it that much more approachable and crushable.
It really does.
You purchase them in 4-packs.
Yes. I mean, you could purchase them as singles as well, but I got a 4-pack because we like us some Bock beer.
And they're pint size, so they're 16 ounces.
Yes.
Versus the American 12 ounce, which a lot of breweries do. So I like it. Very good. Honorable mention, I had a Wiedemann beer the other day. It was a Bock beer.
Yeah, we had Wiedemann's Bock.
That was really tasty.
It was Bock beer.
Pretty much the same flavor profile because they are the same.
They're similar.
Yeah, they're the same style. I was going to say, with, variations on the taste, mild variations on the taste, not super noticeable. So the Wiedemann, it was called the Flying Dutchman. It's by Wiedemann. It's fine beer. And it's a Bock beer. ABV was 7%, IBU was 20. It had that crisp, clean lager finish, which is, like I said, a characteristic of a lager. It's very malty and bready, everything that a monk who would brew this back in the day would like. So honorable mention to Wiedemann. And we have one more Bock beer to try this week, which we haven't, I don't think we have time to drink it tonight. Which is sad.
We could, but we'd be getting pretty crunk on a weeknight, which our jobs might not find
desirable.
Yeah, just try and think of a word.
So that one more beer, of course, is Brink's version of, it's a Doppelbock.
Oh, it's probably good we didn't open that one up.
It's a little bit higher. It's not much higher as far as ABV than the Wiedemann one. It's about 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up a crowler of that on Sunday. It was on a mission to get Bock beer, specifically for this episode. But
yeah, somehow you ended up at Brink and I ended up with 2 kids for 2 hours.
Didn't you just put a calendar invite on my calendar saying that you have a hair appointment?
I did.
Yeah. Who has to watch the kids during that?
Clara's in charge.
I'm waiting.
I just said Clara's in charge.
So I'm really looking forward to cracking that open. I'll probably do that tomorrow. The issue with the crowler, of course, is it's 32 ounces, which in theory is 2 pints, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
Because one of us falls asleep on the couch or in bed with the toddler. At least her bed's pretty comfy.
Yeah, that was by design.
Mm-hmm. Here, toddler, you will sleep in the bed if it is comfy. Oh, wait, now I have fallen asleep in the bed too. Whoops.
So that's 3 beers that we've purchased specifically for Bockfest season. I think the gnomes said there's like 26 varieties.
But why can't I find them?
I don't know. I haven't been to Kroger recently, so I don't think...
The last time I went to Kroger, I looked. Now, maybe it's just our Kroger. That's the issue.
I don't know.
They had tons of St. Patrick's Day beer.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They had a whole wall of St. Patrick's Day stuff.
Like local? Or just like Guinness?
It was like Guinness and Smithwick's and...
Killian's.
Yeah. Some like national and international stuff. I don't think there was much local.
Yeah. You might have find like William Goat or William the Sonder version.
Yeah.
I know that they canned that. Their version of Bach, which is delicious, but I haven't had this year. I think we have maybe one in the beer fridge from last year.
It's possible. I know I drank one recently.
Or maybe you drink it then. So maybe not. The marathon that I usually get craft beer at, of course, that changed ownership.
Yeah, so it might just be that I need to find a bottle shop or something on my way home. Could have maybe bugged Juliet and Marco on my way home from work today. But that would have been out of my way.
I don't know that a lot of breweries, bottled or canned their Bach beer this year.
I don't know.
I follow Listerman on, Facebook and Instagram. They haven't said that they have Bach beer in their tap room.
Yeah, things have been kind of quiet on the Bach beer front. I don't know if people are just waiting for Bach Fest or... I did have King Cake Baby or is it King Cake Baby at Brink the other week. And that's their Fat Tuesday beer.
You have a crowler of that.
Oh, yeah, I did get a crowler of that. Or no, you got me a crowler of that.
I got you a crowler of that.
The beer tastes like king cake. Like cake and super sugary icing and sprinkles. Like you can taste all of it. You can almost taste the baby in the king cake. It's so good.
Hopefully they did not put a plastic baby in there. That would contaminate the beer.
It'd be pretty funny if they did, though. When this counter goes off on this keg, I'm obligated to put a fake baby in your glass of beer.
Oh my God. Well, you can put it in the glass of beer, just not in the crowler. But as I was saying, allegedly, there's going to be 26 breweries or 26 varieties at Bach Fest.
Oh.
Give or take. That's according to the gnome. So I don't know if they released the tap list or if he was going by previous years. So I know that breweries have, they obviously brewed Bach beer this year.
Yeah, they brewed it. We just have to get our hands on it.
Yeah, so it's just not readily available to take home, it seems like. At least not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe after Bach Fest, they'll take it back to the tap room and you can get crowlers and growlers.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I did learn this week, I just listened to the Gnarly Gnomes very chaotic episode about the Sausage Queen. You can light your beer on fire with a poker.
I thought we were just caramelizing our beer with the poker. I did not know we were also lighting the beer on fire.
Well, that's what they kept saying, light your beer on fire. But yeah, it is a poker. He apparently has a mobile grill, I guess, in a poker. So he carries this with him all the time, apparently. Or not all the time, but...
Now this season he carries it around with him.
Yeah, so he did that. He kind of, off to the side, he made the poker hot, and then he dipped it in his beer and caramelized the beer, which I have not tried before. Which I am intrigued. I'd be
down to give it a try.
I would be very interested to try that, actually. Especially because I do love the multi beer.
Mm-hmm.
The more multi beers versus like the IPAs and stuff like that. So I don't know where to go to try that. I'm certainly not going to, go out and buy a beer poker.
I might have something in the basement we can use with all my scouting camping stuff. But you'd also have to trust me with fire for that one.
Yeah, because if you imagine accidentally touching the glass and it just explodes.
Or I brand you.
Or that.
You belong to me now.
So that's what we're drinking this week. We're drinking Bock beer. We're very excited about Bock beer, as you can tell.
Bach Fest is the best fest.
And Bach Fest, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but it's kind of a thing that's exclusively Cincinnati. So you're not going to find Bock beer, anywhere else in the world that I know of.
Bach beer in these quantities. Everybody else is too concerned about St. Patrick's Day, which, is a good thing to be concerned about. But don't forget about Bach season.
So now it is time for What's Bugging Caroline in Children's TV, where you, Caroline, tell us about the lack of physics and logic and sense, sometimes that is apparent in our children's television programs. So take it away.
I understand that cartoons, things don't have to be realistic, but the only cartoons that I talk about or that I try to talk about are educational cartoons that are trying to teach my kids something. Because I was talking to my coworkers today about Bugs Bunny and Donald Duck and Mighty Mouse and all of these old school cartoon shows and how they were just totally crazy. But they were supposed to be crazy because they were cartoon shows. But Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is supposed to be teaching my preschooler things. It's supposed to be educating her.
Like numbers and colors and letters.
And how you don't need to be afraid that holding 7 balloons instead of 6 is going to make you float off into the air, even though 2 of your friends grab onto you, which should totally cancel out the effect of all of the balloons. But no, now all 3 of you are floating away.
Do we know where Mickey Mouse lives? Does he live on planet Earth? I know he visits Mars.
He visits Mars.
Does he
So we know it doesn't take place on Mars. We know the planet has a moon because sometimes the moon falls asleep.
Yeah.
And we have to give the moon a binky so we can actually get out of the moon's orbit because the moon is snoring, which is preventing our spaceship from leaving. We've also landed on the moon and done things on the moon before.
I do recall this. I think Pluto lost his ball.
Yes, Pluto lost his ball and it landed on the moon.
Pluto the dog lost his ball.
Yes. Pluto, the planet, metaphorically lost its ball because it was no longer considered an actual planet. A moment of silence, please, for Pluto. So, in this episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Minnie is throwing a picnic at the new picnic grounds at Mickey Park. We spend literally all day helping her get ready, while Pete finds a blanket for us to sit on. Donald and Daisy are counting plates so we have enough plates for all of our friends. We have to count our hot dogs to make sure we have enough hot dogs for all of our friends.
It's very important.
Very much. So once we finally get to Mickey Park, we lay out a picnic blanket and a beach towel, which was another one of our Mouse-Catools because the picnic blanket wasn't big enough for all 12 of our friends. Even though 4 of the friends are very small, it probably would have been fine, but whatever. So the blanket blows away, but we get it back because Mickey uses his trampoline to get it out of the tree that it blew into. But then Goofy accidentally spills juice all over it, which leads Minnie to have a mental breakdown because she's worked so hard on this picnic. Which, really she has. This is an all-day thing, and we're only eating hot dogs. We've put probably a little too much effort into this at this point.
That's a preschooler's favorite meal, though.
Our kids are always down for hot dogs. Doesn't matter time of day, they will eat a hot dog.
Hot dogs are very important to the audience of this show. That's what I'm getting at.
This is true. Or Yumblats, as we call them on Mars. So Minnie's basically having a mental breakdown, but Mickey tells her to relax because anything can happen at Mickey Park. And then a picnic shelter comes out of nowhere. Literally it comes out of the ground. Just like the clubhouse does when we say the magic words, but no magic words were said. So what kind of witchcraft is this? And then the handy helpers cook the hot dogs inside the picnic shelter, and which is fine. You should cook your hot dogs before you eat them. But we were literally all about to sit down at a picnic blanket and eat these hot dogs with zero evidence of a cooking method. There were no grills visible until the picnic shelter popped up. Were we actually going to cook these hot dogs? Were we going to eat them like spring or summer outdoor temperature? Because it's been a hot second since these things have been in a cooler. They might get like salmonella or something. So like it all works out in the end. But were they actually going to cook the hot dogs before the picnic shelter had to pop up? Because that's not super safe. Also, the handy helpers like throw the hot dogs in the air, so you have to catch them. I'm not coordinated enough to do that. Please do not throw hot dogs at my face.
I don't think the audience of this show is coordinated either.
So just like hand people their food. Though I guess the throwing looks better on camera.
Don't teach my daughter to throw her food. She throws enough stuff.
Yeah. She does.
And so does my son.
Oh, I'm done with this drink. I don't need it anymore.
Throw
on ground.
on brand new
Hey,
carpet.
Mom, I'm thirsty. I don't have a drink. Oh, you mean that thing that you threw on the ground? I don't know how it got on the ground. Do you know how it got on the ground? It's a mystery. But yeah, this show doesn't really do a lot of like super safe cooking stuff. But at least it's not Professor Von Drake leaving questionable substances out in eating areas. Because he's done that a few times too. Hence how Donald becomes a frog in one episode.
He also turned Goofy into a baby.
Oh, yeah. Because they were going to turn Goofy into a knight in shining armor. Or take him. It was very unclear. I think at first Von Drake said he was going to take him back to the time of knights in shining armor. But literally the song goes, you go in on the left and come out different on the right. In on the left and out on the right. So like the song says you're going to go in on one side and come out on the other a different something. Not saying what that something is. You were screwed from the start, Goofy.
He agreed to do it, though.
He did. He agreed to the questionable science experiment and was a baby for a full episode.
So is this everything that's bugging you this week?
This is what my toddler makes me fall asleep at like 9 p.m. brain can think of at the moment. She's really adorable. And I like her snuggles when she finally falls asleep and isn't a complete wiggle butt. But man, she rammed her head into my back some kind of weird way this last night.
She doesn't do that to me. She lets me go on my phone.
Must be nice.
I don't.
She uses me as a jungle gym.
All right, so now on to the main topic of the show, where we are going to discuss Bach Fest and how it has returned in all of its glory.
And Bock beer.
And of course, Bach beer. Can't have Bach Fest without Bach beer.
I mean, you can, but it'd be really, really sad.
It would be kind of awkward.
A little bit. So, while we have already done an episode on Bockfest/Bock beer, we were younger then, and we've learned so much since. So we're just going to revisit the topic. We might revisit it every year. We'll see. Hopefully next year, because the plan for this year was to have like 10 different Bock beers to drink and just get
10? At least like 3 or 4.
Okay, was to have a variety of Bock beers to drink and get a variety of levels of drunk while recording the show. We're just going to postpone that to next year.
Episode 100.
Yes. So, what is now known as Bock beer was created as a dark, malty, lightly hopped ale in the 17th century by German brewers in Einbeck. Have you been to Einbeck? Have you been around Einbeck? Do you even know?
I don't know. Where's Einbeck at?
It's in Germany.
Yeah, but southern Germany or...
I'm going to assume northern Germany since it was adopted by Bavaria in the 17th century, and Bavaria is southern Germany.
Yeah, I've mostly been to southern Germany.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even go to, like, Berlin to see the Berlin Wall or... I mean, we flew into Frankfurt.
Mm-hmm.
But we immediately left.
Yeah. So just like the United States, and there's all these different accents and like different verbiage for things, all depending upon where you are in the country, Germany is the same way. So Bavaria, due to their accents, instead of saying Einbeck, would say Einbach, which is another way of saying billy goat in German. And then the name Bock was born. And thanks to this, goats often appear alongside Bock beer. So like lots of your Bock beer branding involves goats because it also means goat.
Goats and lederhosen.
Lots of lederhosen too.
I think that's actually only one specific.
That's Saunders. You're thinking of Saunders. We've been staring at that can in the fridge for a while. Bock beer is generally associated with special occasions. We drink it during Lent, which apparently Lenten Bock exists. I need that. And then Bock beers are long associated with being drunk by Bavarian monks during times of fasting to replace food. But this was so somebody actually like wrote a book and said that, I thought I had it in here. I guess I didn't write it down, but I read it. Like they wouldn't just drink this during Lent. They drink it during lots of times of fasting. I swear I had a whole paragraph in here about Franciscan peoples.
Few moments later.
And we're back. So I'm going to lead off with telling everyone that I am pissed about Wikipedia's page about Bock beer because only one of the examples of the style is a Cincinnati beer. 2 if you count Sam Adams.
What do you mean?
So, like, it will list off the following commercial products are indicative of the style. And it just lists bunch o beers. None of them are Cincinnati. But not all of them are German.
Edit it then.
But Doppelbock does include Emancipator. It also includes Great Lakes. Doppelrock.
Great Lakes has a beer?
Doppelrock.
I don't know that that's true.
It's on Wikipedia, therefore it must be true. And they include Sam Adams Doppelbock.
I don't remember seeing Sam Adams at Bach Fest.
Just because they're not at Bach Fest doesn't mean that they don't have a Bock beer.
I know they have a chocolate Bach.
I'm just annoyed that none of the beers listed are Cincinnati. But there's one from Nashville. What the? Someone fix it that knows more about Cincinnati beer than me.
Yeah, get on that. We'll link to the Gnome as a reliable source.
Yeah. So there are different styles of Bock beer, just like there are different styles of Oktoberfest beer. So there's a traditional Bock beer, which is 6 to 7-ish%, sweet and lightly hopped. It should smell malty and toasty and have no hops or fruitiness. A smooth, low-carbonated beer that is light copper to brown in color with an off-white head, which is a pretty good description of this Flusbock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
13 Below, that is. They did a good job with their Bock. It's pretty much exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit below that 6 to 7% ABV.
It is.
Which I'm not mad about.
I'm not mad about either.
Makes it more approachable. You can crush multiple cans of that beer.
Yes, I could. The next one is a Maibach, also known as a Hellesbock or a Hellerbach. This is a Helles lager brewed to Bock beer strength, so lighter than a usual Bock beer. The color is deep gold to light amber, and it's more carbonated than a traditional Bock beer. Usually it's less malty, more dry, and can be a bit more hoppy or bitter. So my favorite that I can get is a Doppelbock, which is also known as a Doppelbock. This is a stronger Bock beer that was typically brewed by the Paulaner Friars, a Franciscan order of monks. The story goes that it was served as liquid bread during times of fasting, but Mark Dredge, who's a historian who wrote a book called A Brief History of Lager, says that this story is a myth and that the monks would drink it all year long because they were vegetarian, so they did need something a little bit stronger in their diet to help supplement it. This beer is stronger than a typical Bock beer. It's 7 to 12% ABV.
Yeah, it is.
It is very sweet. It's dark gold to dark brown, very malty, a little toasty, and can have some chocolate or fruity aromas. It's usually rich and malty with a noticeable alcohol presence. Like, you can taste the alcohol. Modern Doppelbocks often have Ator added to the end of the beer names to signal the style. An example is Christian Moorline's Emancipator or Listerman's Gravitator, which are both of their brands, Doppelbocks.
Rest in peace, Christian Marline's Emancipator.
It was such a good beer too.
But we might get some. Who
We
knows?
might. We'll see.
It'll be, if we do, it'll only be in draft.
Yeah.
Same thing with Listerman. I don't know. Well, not the same thing with Listerman, but I haven't heard anything about Listerman's Gravitator because we usually get a growler of it.
We do. And it's so yummy. And we get so happy.
That's like 10%.
I
want to say
it's a triple digit beer. So it's at least 10%.
Yeah.
Because it was under the triple digit brand.
Like back in the day, at least.
And then when Ohio changed all their liquor licensing stuff, they were able to merge the brands together. They didn't need a separate brand for triple percentage stuff. So the beer that I need in my life is an Eisbock. Eisbock. It's where you partially freeze your Doppelbock and remove the water ice that has formed on your partially frozen Doppelbock, which increases your ABV.
So this is like ice wine?
Yes, but no. So ice wine is created because you wait for the grapes to go through the first frost and you press the grapes while they're partially frozen so you get less of the water and more of the sugar, which yields you a higher percentage alcohol wine. This is you brew your beer.
Yeah.
You let it ferment. You partially freeze it. You take off all that ice. So it's like ice distilling. I feel like ice distilling is a thing. I'm going to call it ice distilling.
Yeah, we can just make stuff up. That's fine.
So usually it's 9 to 13% ABV and a deep copper to dark brown color. The head can be quite thin, though, due to the high alcohol content. So as the same with the Doppelbock, you can taste the alcohol. It's usually a little fruity and is rich and sweet in flavor with toasty notes. Apparently, I'm going to maybe butcher this, Schorschbrau in Germany and Brewdog.
Sure. I have no idea.
So Schorschbrau in Germany and Brewdog in Scotland collaborated to make the highest ABV beer ever and made a beer called Strength in Numbers, which is about 57.8 ABV. Which is a
Holy moly.
115 proof beer.
Take that, Utopias. At what point is it not a beer anymore?
I don't know, but apparently that's still beer. So.
Holy moly. Can you imagine 57.8%?
I mean, I would try it.
I guess that would equal, I'm not a liquor person, but would that equal like a shot of tequila?
That's like a lot of different liquors. Because a lot of liquors are like 100 proof-ish, this is 115 proof. Because proof is you just take your alcohol content and you double it. I don't know what exactly that means. I used to know, like as to why we call it that.
I don't know.
But the last type of Bock beer is a Weisenbach, which is a wheat Bock. And it replaces a lot of the barley with wheat and is usually about as strong as a Doppelbock. And it was first made in 1907. I don't know of any that are in the area. So I haven't tried this one either.
Yeah, I would say most, if not all, of the beer styles that are in Cincinnati, at least, that I know of, and I haven't tried all of them. There's just no way to do that unless you buy there's a package that you can buy and you can get a sample of all of them, which I have not done before. But to my knowledge, most of the breweries in Cincinnati go for the traditional Bock, the lager that's like 6 to 7%, or a Doppelbock, which is like between 7 and let's say 12%. Some might do the Maibach as well. So between those three styles, but mostly divided between the traditional Bock and the Doppelbock, I would say.
Yeah.
Is what Bach Fest is, or what Bach Fest has. I would love to see some variety. I mean, we mentioned the poker before. You can caramelize your beer. But apparently you can also freeze your beer.
Yeah, I want to see somebody do that.
That's interesting. I am interested in that. I don't know what a Weisenbach is. Is that that's like a wheat?
Yeah, it's like a wheat Bock.
I'm interested in that as well.
Yeah.
I would love to see some different variety.
It'd be nice because we get lots of variety for Oktoberfest because there's the Marzen versus the Fest beer versus the...
No, there's only two, I think. Two main ones.
Oh.
But they kind of merge.
Yeah.
They've been merging the styles more and more. So as you said, or as I said earlier, Bach Fest is kind of a Cincinnati thing. It's exclusive to Cincinnati. To my knowledge, no one is crazy enough to host an entire festival, specifically in February.
I mean...
And
so literally Bach Fest on Wikipedia is just about Cincinnati.
Right, yeah. Definitely not in the United States. If anywhere, it would be in Germany.
Yeah.
But I don't even think that's a thing necessarily in Germany. I think this is a Cincinnati thing that they took this style of beer that Germans, used to brew, or I guess they brew it. I've never had a German Bock beer before, unless it's a Maibach.
Yeah.
During Oktoberfest. I would consider that like an Oktoberfest style on Maibach. So it's definitely a Cincinnati thing. Leave it to Cincinnati to have a beer festival middle of February when it's snowy and late February, early March, we'll say.
The weather's gone wonky a few years that they've had it. Not any of the years that we've gone, but we've walked there in the snow before.
Yeah, so as we all said, Bach Fest is back, and we're super excited for that.
I am. So this year things are a little bit different. Bach Fest Hall has moved, and it is now it's the Bach Fest Hall at Findlay Playground is what they're calling. So it's at Findlay Playground. So everything's closer to Findlay Market than it used to be. So unfortunately things are a little bit farther away from the traditional parking shelters that we normally stay at. So we're trying to figure out where it is that we're going to park this year. But it's right on the streetcar route, so you can take the streetcar. And right now we're not planning on taking the kids, but Sunday is jam-packed with events for kids. So if your kids are a bit bigger, go for it.
In 2020, Bach Fest was the last big event that we went to pre-COVID. So, as we said, we're excited to be going back. And when we go to Bach Fest, we're not crazy enough to go Saturday night.
No, never have. We maybe have been there for Saturday night once.
I don't think we ever have. We always go for the 5K, which starts in the morning.
Yep, it's at 10 a.m.
And it's we might run a little bit, but we walk most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 5K, and as part of this 5K, it's race 1 of the beer series, which is a 3-race event throughout spaced between the entire year. Did we do it the first year? I think we did it the second year.
We joined in the third-ish year that they did it, I think.
Okay, so we didn't always do it, but
no,
we started probably in 2015 doing these 5Ks, and we have an entire, I guess it's a hanger of just medals.
We have a coat hook each of medals that I need to figure out what we're going to do with.
Yeah, we don't even know. So it's a race series, 3-race series, themed around beer. And the first race is the Bach Fest 5K. And at the end of all these races, you get 2 beers each, plus a cheese coney.
Yep. And if you want a Hootie Delight, you can get a Hootie Delight usually. Maybe you can only get the Hootie Delight at the Huda Pole race. You can get a Huda Pole.
We haven't done it in a year, but in years past.
You can get a Huda Pole at Bach Fest, which is maybe one of the lighter beers that you're going to be able to get at Bach Fest.
It used to be the Hudipole Amber in cans. They would
Yep.
give it to you.
Or an Emancipator in a
One
can.
year, 1 year they gave us Emancipator in cans.
But your race tickets are also good for the beer tents. So maybe skip that beer line and go pick up something in one of the beer tents.
So you can get the draft beer.
Yep.
One of the 26 styles of Bach beer that we've been going on and on about.
Yeah.
So that's typically when we go. So we hang out for a couple hours. We go to brunch, after
Yeah, we'll find somewhere to go for brunch.
we drink quite a bit. And then, of course, on Sunday is family day. And back when we were in the Donauschwab and Schuhplatlers,
That's when we danced.
that's when we would dance.
And they are dancing this year from 1 to 2. They have an hour-long show.
Oh, they're probably sharing it with someone,
Nope.
like the youth group or someone.
Nope.
No? They have an hour-long show.
Apparently.
Okay. Good for them. So, yeah, we would do the race on Saturday, hang out, drink our 2 beers, go to brunch downtown somewhere, and then we would come back on Sunday and dance.
Yep. Which was exhausting, but so much fun.
As dancers, they would also give us beer tickets. So that was nice.
Yeah.
I would always go for the Emancipator. I love that beer.
That was also when the variety was a lot less. You'd have like 6 different beers to choose from.
Oh, yeah,
Now
it was
you
all
have
back
30.
then. It was all like Christian Moorline.
Yes.
It was like Emancipator, Christian Moorline beers, and then I think they had the Schellingbock, which was the
It's still-
homebrew competition
Yep.
winner. So every year they would have a homebrew competition, and the winner would have it brewed commercially,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would be distributed at the next year's Bach Fest.
Yes, they still do that. So Bach Fest weekend, you have the parade that starts at Arnold's on Friday at 6 p.m. But before that, you can go to the Moorline Lager House at 4 p.m. to see who the winners are of the Schengling Bach homebrew competition. And you follow the parade up to the new Bach Fest Hall at Finley Playground, where Jake Speed will sing the Bach beer song, which now I need to find that on YouTube because I don't know what this is.
Is it just a drunk guy singing Bach, Bach, Bach?
Maybe. So I'm going to look that up for my own personal enjoyment later. And then Brother Tim will bless this year's Bach beer. And then you can rock out to some music by the Clobberheads and hang out at the playground for some beer and some snacks, or just go to all the different participating venues in Over the Rhine / downtown. The streetcar is free all weekend. And then Saturday morning, you can shake off all those cobwebs, is what they say, from all that drinking that you did the night before, to cheer on or run with the Bockfest 5K runners. And there's going to be a Bockfest pig roast on Saturday. So we could have some roast pig, I guess. And then Rookwood Pottery has a Bockfest Heritage Series, and they have a special mug.
I saw this mug. It looks beautiful.
It does. And they've got walking tours for the Historic Brewing District on Saturday. Unfortunately, all of the earlier tours that we would be able to attend are already sold out. I looked.
Yeah, they sell out pretty quickly, these historical tours. I do recommend it. We've been on
half of one. Well, you've been on half of one.
Yeah.
I've been on 1.5.
Yeah. So, sidebar, quick story. We were going to Bach Fest one year. I think it was like 2015 or something, 2014.
Yeah, like 2014, 2015.
And we ate lunch at the Eagle.
We moved the car so we were closer to Bockfest Hall.
Yeah, we were with our friends. And
all in German garb because we had come from German Mass.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah. I was in a Lederhosen and you were in a Dirdnall.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get out of the car and the tour comes by and he sees all of us in our traditional German, attire. And he's like, "Hey, Lederhosen, do you want to go on a tour?"
You're dressed perfectly for it.
And we're like, "Sure."
We have to dance in like an hour and a half, but it should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't know who you are. We'll just follow.
Or where you're going or what
Yeah.
exactly is going
Or
on.
how long it's going to take.
And we ended up in the basements of buildings in Cincinnati that used to be loggerine cellars.
Yeah, so he took us down the street, and we walked into a building and down a really old staircase.
Everything was very sketchy. It was like padlocked doors. Everything was plywood.
Yeah, and
It's very early days of the historic brewery tours.
and we saw the loggering tunnels, and it was really cool, actually. And we will have to do, a full tour.
Yes. We should get a group together. That's what we should do.
You can add this to the list of things that Julia and Marco want to do.
Yes, we can.
That we will never do.
We've already kind of determined that if people say that they're going to do things on a Cincinnati craft beer podcast, Julia is either going to be the ones that holds them accountable or is going to be the one that actually gets it done. Julia is the lifeblood of Cincinnati craft beer podcasts.
Sure.
Have we sent beer to the Newber report yet? I don't know. But that task got shifted to Julia at some point.
And Beth, I think.
And it was originally shifted to Beth. And then Beth was like, guys, I can't get any of our beer. We're just bottling Astra. I'm trying, but I can't. So yeah, I can do the historic brewery tours. Super recommend it if you can. And then Saturday night, they're going to have more music, and you can watch the newest Sausage Queen be crowned. And again, they've got stuff all over the Rhine and downtown because Bach Fest.
Yeah, so Bach Fest, there is a central hub, and that central hub is called Bach Fest Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And Bach Fest Hall, I learned this on the Weekly Pint 2 weeks ago. Bach Fest Hall, I guess before you and I were old enough to go to Bach Fest, before it settled, in the Christian Moorline place on Moore Street. Apparently it was rotating.
Ah.
So different places was, quote, Bach Fest Hall. So now they're going back to that. So that's the central hub, Bach Fest Hall, which is at this new place. But all of the bars and, of course, there's Rheingeist and all, the breweries and stuff, they all are part of Bach Fest as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to Bach Fest Hall to be part of Bach Fest. Although if you want to try the different varieties, you should fact check me on this, but pretty sure you would have to go to Bach Fest Hall for that.
I believe that is the case. Because it's saying over 30 Bach beers.
Oh, now it's over 30. I'll just assume that a Rheingeist is not going to carry a Brink beer on draft. If you want the Brink beer,
Yeah.
you would have to go to Bach Fest Hall. But Rheingeist will carry Rheingeist beer. And maybe some of the bars will carry multiple varieties.
So it looks like the Bach beer experience is Saturday from 12 to 6 and is $45 a ticket, but includes a 4-ounce sample of every Bach beer on draft, plus a pint glass. They'll pour some of them on Friday, and any beer remaining after 6 p.m. will be poured the rest of the weekend. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of beer. Listerman has their Friar Bacon Smoked Bach this year.
Okay, so I'm not Gravitator.
No. Sam Adams has a Coffee Bach.
Interesting. I really want that chocolate Bach. Right?
I know.
They used to have it in the variety packs around Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Brinks is called Brinkinator. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they changed the name.
Deadlow has a Schwabian Bach.
Okay.
We need
That's
that.
interesting. I wonder why they picked that name.
I wonder why too. So Saturday is going to be a get wrecked kind of day, as it typically is for Bach Fest. But on Sunday, you can start things off a little slower and a lot more family friendly, starting with Joe's favorite thing, or no, your dad's favorite thing, goat yoga at 10 a.m.
My dad's favorite thing?
Your dad complains about lots of things, and I feel like goat yoga is one of those things. He doesn't understand it.
I don't even think, well, I mean, I don't understand goat yoga, but I don't even think my dad knows that goat yoga exists.
I kind of want to do goat yoga, but I also don't want someone climbing on me while I'm trying to do yoga because it'll feel like me trying to do yoga at home with kids.
Is that what the goats do?
Do
you have to bring your own goat? I have so many questions.
They provide the goats. Okay. You don't have to bring your own goat.
And what does the goat do?
The goat hangs out with you and potentially climbs you. I don't know. I've seen different iterations of this with varying levels of goat involvement.
Okay.
But you have to buy tickets for that. And then they have the Little Lynx pageant for the kids, which is... Let me just pull up their Sunday page.
3 days later.
So Baby Lynx is 0 to 2 years old. Mini Lynx is 3 to 6 years old. And Little Lynx is 7 to 12 years old. So you're supposed to wear welcome spring attire, which can include traditional German garb, your choice. And they have celebrity judges. Air quotes around celebrities, so I don't know what that means. And they also have the Bach Fest 0.05K, which is...
They did a video about this.
A 164-foot fun run.
Yeah, they did a video preparing to run a... What is it, a 0.5?
0.05.
It's preparing to run a 0.5.
No, a 0.05.
Is a 0.05 mile.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it because it was ridiculous.
That's not even a football field. A football field is 300 feet because it's 100 yards and there's 3 feet in a yard. This is a little over half a football field.
That's still pretty far.
I mean, it's still pretty far, but
it's decent.
Yeah. And then they're going to have free games for kids from the CRC from 11 to 4. And then the Donald Robin dancers go from 1 to 2.
Okay. We will not be dancing this year.
We will not be dancing this year. We have not attended enough practices to dance this year.
No, we have not. I don't know. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Is that everything about Bach Fest?
For this year, yes. I'm excited to see how things change. So hopefully we'll see y'all out there Saturday morning-ish and a little into Saturday afternoon.
We have a sitter for the kids.
We do.
I don't think we'll be able to stay super long.
No.
But we will be milking that sitter situation as much as possible.
Yes. Hey, we're heading to the car now as we're an hour away from heading to the car. As we're
in line getting a beer.
Oh no, I ended up with this beer. How did this happen? It's Bach Fest. We'll just tell your sister to come over and relieve the sitter if need be.
So now it is time for Joe's Dad Joke of the Week. And I have a on-theme joke. It's all about goats. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So what is a mountain goat called?
I don't know. What?
A hillbilly.
Oh my goodness. Where do you find these things?
Clap. See, I'm in charge of the board. Therefore, no.
I can poke buttons too.
So that does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Make sure to check us out on YouTube because we are posting videos.
Woohoo! You might not be able to see our faces, but you can hear our voices.
And you can find us on all 3 of those platforms at Craft Parenting Podcast. You can also get a hold of us via email, which is craftparentingpodcast@gmail.com.
If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. Make sure to share the show. It's what helps our show grow. If you'd like to send us stuff, such as fan mail, craft supplies, or any extra sanity you have lying around, we have a P.O. box.
And all this information is available on our website, www.craftparentingpodcast.com.
We will post the show notes up there, plus we will be writing blog posts about some of the stuff that doesn't make it in the podcast.
And with that, I'm Joe.
And I'm Caroline.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Peace. Dedlow has a Schwabienbach. Schwabienbach. Bach. Words are hard. Schwabienbach.
All right, that was episode 50. We are old.
Whoa, but not as ancient as Joe, and that's the important thing. So there are a few other Bach Fests around the country, but none of them are as cool as ours. So
That's the important thing.
it really is.
The level of coolness.